And we're back. Thursdays, I have the pleasure of doing this stream with Jess. Obviously, Jess is here. Big up you lot around the world. How are you lot doing? Jess, what you saying, man? And before you continue or say anything, Jess, make sure you're following Jess's YouTube channels in the title. You know what you need to do. You saying, Jess, man? How's life? I was at Atlanta. I can never say it. I always say Atalanta, but how was Atlanta? ATL is, I think.
Life is really good. Outside of Arsenal stressing, life is really good. I can't lie. Super busy, getting ready for the World Cup, and watching you on Talk Sport.
Going to war 9 times out of 10 on Talksport. It'd be nice if my boys went to war with the same kind of energy, but we're digressing. I mean, everyone can understand the elephant in the room. It's a weird one, Jess, and I want to know your thoughts. I've actually got a series of questions, because I wanted to ask you. I've answered this on my channel, but I wanted to ask you, and I've got it here. What does it feel like actually being an Arsenal fan right now? Because back-to-back semi-finals, top of the league, it should be incredible or should feel incredible, but it doesn't. Why is that the case if you do or don't feel that way and all that?
I feel like the answer is so obvious, but it's not okay to say that the reason why being in back-to-back semifinals and the idea that that's progress, it's like it feels like nothing because nobody believes that we're actually going to win it. I think most Arsenal fans at this point, it's weird because obviously like a couple weeks ago, there was so much optimism about multiple trophies, but the way that the team has applied itself over the last 4 weeks or so, I think has dampened the mood, so I think the answer is just so obvious. I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, it's okay to say that you don't think that we're going to get it over the line. And it's not because they're not talented enough or, the opportunity is not there. It's the performances. The performances speak for themselves. And for weeks, months, I've been screaming from the rooftops that performances matter. No, you just need to get it over the line. Well, your performances are what are going to eventually carry you over the line. If you have bad habits, those are going to show up at your worst times. And those habits have come to roost, unfortunately. So, yeah, being in back-to-back semifinals, it's like, okay. But if you guys watched the game yesterday between Bayern and Real Madrid, or you've been watching PSG at all, what makes you think that we're going to beat either one of those teams or even Atletico Madrid? Based on the way that we're playing right now, you can tell me Saka is going to come back. So-and-so is going to come back. Saka played in that Carabao Cup final with the armband and dropped a stinker, so it's kind of like, the answer is just kind of like, it's right there. They don't think we're going to win it. Right there.
So what do you pull it down to? Because you made a comment there, and I think I know what you're doing, but I have a job what you mean, sorry, but I have a job to be devil's advocate. Yeah. What do you mean by it's come to roost? What? Let us have everything, nitpick, the out of you, what's gone right, what's gone wrong. Because as you said, I feel personally from the start of the season and last season, really, but start of the season, we have been nitpicking. The football could be more entertaining, yada, 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 but we have been picking up results. I'd actually say everything was quote unquote crusty. Everyone was kind of full of optimism, other than when we hit the second half against City. Since then, it hasn't really been there. But yeah, what has it been? Because again, we're still top of the Premier League and we've still got back-to-back semi-finals. But what's come to roost? What's the issues?
It's just I would say it's just the bad habits that we've seen in 2026. I personally do not think we've played well very many times during the season.
In the Premier League, a handful, if that, and that's being kind.
Yeah, I think there's this idea that we were playing really good in 2025 at the beginning of the season, and now we've dropped away. I personally think we've been pretty mediocre the entire season. And then we've gotten even worse in 2026. The bad habits, it's the playing out from the back and making mistakes, the unforced errors, the inability to build up through the thirds, the lack of chance creation and open play, the lack of, making good decisions when you get into the final third, the lack of clinical finishing.
The lack of penetration in central areas as well.
Yeah, it's all of that. And then on top of the fact that, I think one of the bigger conversations that people are not really having is when I say chickens have come to roost, it's not just like with our bad habits, that's there, but it's also running players into the ground. And we're finally seeing that we're in that death cycle It is basically the same cycle that we were in last season. It's only that we have more players now that we can kind of count on, that one player's injured, the other player's coming back from the injury, and it's like one person's recovering, the other person's coming back.
It's a revolving door.
Yeah, and it's just Kai Havertz is going to save our season. Kai Havertz has been out for a year. He's been out for a year. He was out for 4 months last season and then got injured on the first game of the season this season and has been out since March. And people think he's going to save our season. It's not even about what I think about him as a player. His level is much lower than what it would normally be because he's not physically fit.
Right, Saka, Odegaard, the same for whatever reason as well could apply. That could apply to. In fact, that probably applies to the majority of our team. You know, we're better off probably thinking about who hasn't been injured this season, because I very much doubt there's anything more than 3 to 4 players that haven't had a knock. And I get it at this point of the season with the amount of games that you have to play for club and country. There's going to be knocks, there's going to be aches, there's going to be all of that. But I make you right, because we brought in 8 players, and yeah, that's helped us combat. But we've been dealing with injuries from August until May. So there's either something the players are not doing. There's obviously an element of Arteta running people into the ground or whatever. There's just several things that have been brought to the forefront. Obviously, we know they've been there from the jump, but it's been a disaster where domestic competitions are concerned. So it's like now everyone wants to speak about this kind of stuff. But it's jarring, man. And you know what? We're on the topic, yeah. Idol's Corner, you got a great question. I'm going to get into it in a sec, yeah. But kind of focusing on the Sporting Lisbon game, what did you make of the Sporting game? Do you think it's a reaction? Like, where are you at with that? Because I do think that. I think, you know, we've been messing about in domestic competitions. I think the 2 games against Sporting weren't good, but we haven't been winning. And I give the players that. I do think there was more intent yesterday to go forward. I do think they actually put in a performance that they probably should have done, if not better, against Bournemouth. But it's not hunky-dory. It's not rosy. I won't say I'm filled with hella optimism going into Sunday, but like, where are you at with the Sporting game?
Can I just say, before I get into the Sporting game, I just want to say that, like, we should not
start here and say everything you want.
We should not be asking this team for a reaction right now. They are 6 games away from winning the Premier League, and they're in a semifinal, you know, for Champions League. We should not be asking for performances, reactions, an uptick. They should be at peak form. We should not be asking what's going on, you know? So I just want to put that out there. The fact that people are like, was that a reaction? Why are they not fucking up for it? This is it. This is what you struggled to get to. Like, this is it. You should be at your peak. And you not being at that, like, them not being at the mental space that they need to be in, and we're asking for a response, is pretty freaking dark, you know? But Sporting, listen, I have a group chat with a couple of Arsenal ladies, like, you know, and I watched that game and I thought it may be better than Bournemouth, but it doesn't take much to be better than Bournemouth, because that was the worst performance that they've dropped all season, worse than Wolves, worse than the Carabao Cup final. But
didn't even turn up.
But just because something isn't bad doesn't mean that it's good. And I'm finding myself, it's hard for me to take any positives from a game where we just should not be trying to squint to see performances. It was okay. It was not unprofessional like some of the performances that we've seen this season, but it wasn't good. It wasn't. It was just better than Bournemouth, and that's not saying much. I think you saw more effort, which is the bare minimum requirement.
Facts.
But there's still a lack of chances being created. We still didn't score a goal. I can't really, it's like since the Carabao Cup final, we've probably scored 4 goals or something like that. You know, it's dark. You know, we're not scoring goals and not looking like scoring. And I'm just like, why are we even at this point? It's just the same questions. It's like, do we look good? Why is it that we can't access central spaces? Why don't we look fluid? Why aren't we creating?
None of that's going to change in April and what's left of the season.
We shouldn't be asking these questions. Like, well, maybe if we play this player and this player, Arteta is going to play that all runners front 3 if he has the opportunity to do so. You know, he doesn't see a problem with it. So we're probably going to see it again because these other players are like, Saka's not fit. Basically, that's all it is, you know? So I don't know. You know, Sporting, was it better? Yeah. Does it matter in the grand scheme? Is that performance good enough to beat City? Hell no. You know, so what am I supposed to do? Give them a flower and a gold star? Like, good, you did, you know, like, did the Champions
You're
League, does the
pissed off. I
song
can
not
see
get
it.
you up for it anymore? Like the Champions League anthem, you're at home and damn, you know, it's I don't know.
You sound pissed off, man. And you know what? Like, I can't say you're
Tired
not
of
with
this.
claims.
I'm
You
tired.
should be like, if I'm like, I know you said we shouldn't be squinting for improvements, yeah, and generally I am. I think one thing that's focused on at Arsenal, rightly so, is as you know, I'll just take the overview of attacking play in it like that. Like, there's many different micro things around that, but there's that. I actually feel defensively, and me and you have had conversations about this. I do think we've dropped off our standards this season, and I think for me, I think maybe it's confirmation bias, but I think in the last few games, Southampton comes to mind, Bournemouth comes to mind, City in the final comes to mind. I think we've dropped off a cliff. As much as the XG and all that kind of crap hasn't been pretty and wasn't pretty against Sporting, I'll give the players three things. There was more of a willingness, under the realms of it not being good enough. There was more willingness to want to play forward and intent. I actually, like, there was a couple heart and mouth moments, if you could say that, in a low-key affair. Like, Raya had a couple of blind passes in Saliba. I'm at the point I don't mind that. I'd rather those mistakes, because there looks like there's a bit of invention and intention, than the sideways, and then we're making mistakes in previous things we've seen. And also, I do think, you know, we kind of limited Sporting to not half chances, but half chances. So again, I am nitpicking, but football is decided in both ends, and that's the only kind of positives. And the fact that you won, you didn't embarrass the fans around the world, and obviously you're into the semi-finals. It's a weird one where the semi-finals is concerned, because we should be able to like compartmentalize, be gassed about that, quote unquote, because we're into the latter stages. But where the Sporting games have been is that stench of how we've been performing domestically, isn't it? It's like there's no getting around that. Like,
Yeah.
did you watch it or do a watch along? I don't know yet, but it's like during my watch along, I even found myself obviously commentating on the game, yeah, but there's no getting away from what happened against Bournemouth and what happened against City. I've got to ask you as well, because like I haven't caught up with you in it. Like, what do you make of the Bournemouth game? I've got to ask questions.
So this is where I'm not winning the Arsenal fan Olympics. You know, I'm DQ'd. You know, and I've been telling people this. I'm not trying to be the best fan ever. I'm just a fan. I'm just a girl.
I'm trying to win shit.
I'm just a girl. Like, I was not waking up at 4:30 in the morning to watch them put in a performance I knew they were going to put in anyway. As soon as Arteta starts talking to the fans, I'm like, oh, they're about to be horrendous today. So I only saw the final 30 minutes. So what did I
The
miss?
worst of the lot.
Yeah, I was like, I woke up and I was like, oh, we're drawing. That's pretty fucking bad at home against Bournemouth. Turned it on. They were doing nothing. Then they let Alex Scott score and then wasted the last 15 minutes doing nothing. You know, so it's you know, I think ultimately when Arteta's putting up big screens and doing up montages and asking the fans to do something, he knows that they're not up for it. And again, why are you not up for the final 6 games, 7 games, whatever, when you could win the league? You're ahead. You know, it's not even like you're behind. It's in your hands. You know, you still could go to the Etihad, fuck that up, and still win it if you locked in. Why is Arteta having to talk to the fans? What is wrong with you guys? Like, what is happening? So yeah, Bournemouth was ass cheeks. And you know, that's the long and the short cliff notes of it.
Yeah, no, I listen. I got to ask in it. For me, it's like if let's just say Jess is a singer. Let's just say Jess is Beyonce. Yeah, she tells us she's gonna have a great concert. She tells her friends, her families, everyone, pack out the stadium, go and do whatever. If Jess, the singer, the DJs, the backup dancers, none of them turned up, there's no atmosphere, there's no party, there's no nothing. That's how I felt about the Bournemouth game. And I get it from Arteta. You're trying to find fine margins. I'm even more pissed off because if anything, you know, you should make the Emirates a fortress and try and take home advantage beyond the obvious reasons to want to win. It just went down the toilet to the point where, of course, you're questioning in-game management, tactics, all the things that we've spoken about all season. You're questioning the players' desires. I'm at this nasty point where I don't think Gyökeres is the best striker ever, but I'm relying on a striker in jeans, big him up. I'm relying on a 17, 16, 15-year-old, 17, whatever, in Max Dowman, and probably Eze. And I shouldn't be saying that about my attackers. Like, I need to see players standing up to be counted. And me and Jess have spoken about this. We've criticized in-game management, tactics, central regions, all of that. Me, I'm parking that on off the side because I don't think I'm a genius, but I think I'm not naive in that if it's not going to change now, why would it? Just get over the line. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing cracks defensively, whether it's mentality or whatever. Obviously, the attack, it's not looking good. And for me, I just don't want the boys to spoil it, innit? Like you said, you got 5-6 games. You've got an incredible margin for error. I do think all of this, we need to galvanize and fire in the belly, and the gloves are off and all that stuff. I think we said that several times this season. I think everyone can see the obvious in it. If you really want it, you'll do what needs to be done on Sunday. So it is a weird one. Big up you lot in the chat. I'm going to get to you lot's comments and whatnot, but this was a good question while we're on the Champions League segment. Yeah, big up DG and big up Jess. Question: can Arsenal genuinely compete on two fronts, or will chasing both trophies ultimately cost them one or both? Where are you at with that? You're the guest, so I'll let you go first.
It's a weird one because I do think that you can tell that these players are dead on their feet, and they have been,
like The Walking Dead,
for months, so it's kind of like, no, I think they're at that red zone where it's just, there's too much pressure and their bodies are broken down. So no, I don't think so. Even being on the lighter side of the, Champions League bracket hasn't really helped us because all of our performances are like cup finals. Every single one. There's not a single game that doesn't feel like we have to like struggle through it. So they're exuding a lot of energy, expending a lot of energy, and they keep getting injured. So, it could cost them. I think, will it be the two fronts that cost us? I don't know. But I do think we're struggling to look like a team that has enough, not necessarily depth, because we have the depth, but enough
quality, consistency,
quality, and fit players, So yeah, I mean, but at this point, we should be at the point where we could be in this position, right? Like we went through so many years saying that, well, we don't have the team to do this, so we have to bomb out at everything. I think at some point we need to kind of put the line in the sand that you need to be able to compete on multiple fronts, because let's say that we go out sad against Atletico Madrid or we throw it. Does that really guarantee that we're going to win the league and we're going to put in good performances? No, it's not. It's not. That they'll still play like ass. They will. It's not removing anything off of their plate is not going to help them. So I think it's more just mentality, scared. Those types of things are more of a detriment to our season than a heavy schedule. So yeah, because I think what it is like people are trying to figure out a reason now, why it's like, well, we were in too many competitions and injuries. If they don't win a single trophy this season, it's because they freaking collapse. Like that's mentally, they don't have it. It's not going to be because of, but we were just in so many competitions. Like, no.
And that's a cop-out as well, because obviously, I can't blame fans for being naive, but I see, and I know social media and YouTube ain't the best examples, but at the start of the season, oh my God, look at the depth, people were doing Arsenal B team, they could get top 4, we can finally compete in all trophies. Bearing in mind, we've got more players and we're still injured, so there is something for Mikel Arteta to do in terms of rotation, actually the players, and also footballing authority, which they're not going to do to kind of make less games. They're not going to do that. As much as they can expand, they're going to expand, but we've been knowing that, innit? You know what they say in life, a man or a woman who chases 2 rabbits, you get none in it. That's kind of how I feel about the Premier, the champs. Me and you have spoken before. I would also always say, for me, if I just one fan out of the millions of Arsenal fans, if I could be selfish and just pick for myself broadly without context, I'd pick the Champions League. We ain't done that. I think that's the biggest competition. If I had to include everyone, whether it's Mikel Arteta, the players, the journey, the things we've spoken about in this opening 20 minutes, you in the chat, obviously in line with the recent blip and bumps and bruises, is definitely the Premier League. They're going to have to find a way. Now, me and Jess in the first 20 minutes, right, we've done the context. We've actually given the players their credit because we've had a bit of a bitch and a moan all season, but we've also given you your fair flowers. Now, at the point, and now if you were to take the lazy view and I offered anybody this kind of position with no context, you're in another semi-finals, you've got, you're top of the league, you've got Man City, but you've got a points gap, you would obviously have that. They've got to find a way. Now, there might come a chance for Mikel Arteta, and this is where rotation's key now. If every game in the Premier League's a must-win and you've got a tough game on a Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, equally with the Champions League, you've got a fucking decision to make. But they've been knowing this. They've seen the fixture calendar list in previous years and what comes with it. Arteta's also seen it, not just here, but also at Manchester City. It is what it is. There's injuries. We're not playing well. We're feeling sorry for ourselves. Despite this, we're on a good platform. There's not a single logical reason beyond the fact that I like Arsenal and I'm going to run with these players into the fire, not knowing what's going on. There's not a logical reason. The one thing that annoys me, if I'm honest, is momentum is a big thing at this point in the season. City are a positive shadow of themselves in the first half of the year. Yeah, they're not going to sit back when they take the league like they did. Yeah, that week, in the same way, this week, if we go win the league, or this is where legends will be made and whatnot. Yeah, they went out against Real Madrid, and then they had obviously us on paper, Real Madrid, us, Liverpool, Chelsea. They obviously fucked up against Madrid. They put on their big boy pants. And I actually think they thought they were going to lose that final, regardless of the bottling thing. They turned it on. They smacked up Liverpool. They smacked up Chelsea. Pep's found an answer. Individually and collectively, they're doing what needs to be done. Obviously, City have typically been the team that's in all competitions. The flip side is they've had days to rest and prepare and all of this. But this is the realm we wanted to be in. We wanted to compete in 4 trophies. Obviously, we're in 2 now. It is what it is, man. What do you make of our Champions League chances as much as you can? Because I was having this conversation on a live stream, right? I don't think we're going to win the champs. If I had to put money, it's on the Prem. Of course, I want to win it. We're in the semi-finals. You want to show progression, all that kind of jazz. Bayern Munich, collectively, tactics, the players, Kane and Elise, potential Ballon d'Or winners. The same logic with PSG. Obviously, we've beaten 2 of the 4 semi-finalists now. Well, 3 because we can't play ourselves. I don't take much stock in beating Bayern and beating, obviously, Atletico in the league phase. It shows it can be done, but similar to PSG last season, they're in a different moment in the league phase versus the others. But how do you actually rate our chances? Do you rate? Firstly, how much do you rate our chances against Atletico, and then potentially, if we do that, getting into a final?
Yeah, it's tough because Arteta doesn't have many good examples of his teams doing well in do or die situations. I think in most cases,
and that's my thing on Sunday, man. Yeah. Going into Sunday, all right, man.
They go out sad in almost every single time. I think that's why Real Madrid was such a surprise to so many people, was because we're so used to them not showing up. If there's a situation where there's no opportunity to draw, meaning you have to win, whether that's in the league in April and May when the games really count and drawing is not an option, they usually lose. And if they're in a cup competition and they're beyond the round of 16, whatever, and they need to win, they usually play like they want to draw. So when you play like that, no matter how good your players are, whoever's fit, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many players they have missing. If they play bad on the day, they're going to beat us. So beyond the fact that all the other teams in this competition, including Atletico Madrid, look like they're coming into the part of the season where, they're playing well, they're fresh, they got players back from injury, and
everything's clicking into place.
Everything's clicking.
City as well.
We can't even count on our players to put their best foot forward. So no matter, I think our chances are incredibly low. I think Arteta versus Simeone in a knockout is a mismatch because he did the thing that Arteta can never seem to do, which is make decisions during the week that are going to help you in the weekend, that are going to help you during the week. Simeone rested his entire team for that game because he knew that they were going to have to put in every single little effort to beat Barcelona on that day. And they went through. It was hard, but they went through, because the league is like nothing for them right now. Arteta plays the same group into the ground, rain or shine, even if he doesn't have to. I don't think he can beat Simeone in a knockout, and I damn sure don't think he can do it against Luis Enrique or Vincent Kompany at this stage. Not only do those teams have more talent than us, they're fresher than us, but their managers know what to do. Our chances are very low because I can't even count on them to play their best. It's before you even get to how much better they are than us or anything, you know they're
Are you
going
going to put your foot forward?
Yeah, they're going to play like they can draw. And if you can't win, don't lose. You know they're going to go into that game at the Etihad like that as well. Can't win, don't lose, because that's how they play every single game. It doesn't matter. That Carabao Cup final showed me it was so. That's the game that for me just made me. It was like all of my hopes and dreams for this. It was gone. I was like, as much as we're in a good position,
only 2 men turned up out of our 11.
If you can go into a final and drop a performance like that, I can't trust you. I cannot trust you.
And that's the saddest thing, man. Like, they'll always have our support, but trust, based on what you said, trust going into whatever the Champions League has to say, and obviously Sunday, that's the thing. They need to rebuild the trust. Like, Arteta does a lot of talking about generating atmosphere, and I get it, I understand it. Some of it's work. The Emirates is a lot of a better place, but maybe it's just me being lazy. The performance generates it. And I do think we've been in that climate. We are in that time now where, as dumb as it sounds, somebody clamps someone first minute, it gets the fans behind you. I'm not trying to say Max Dowman should start, but Max Dowman excites people, gets bums off seats, players doing little things, and to the point where we're excited to see Gabriel and Dowman, like the clips doing the rounds of them kind of having it. That's what, that's you know.
Well, you know what they do that irritates me is their script is always the same. The major script is always the same, but the game script is start out and you're kind of popping it around. You can see some new ideas. They get a couple of chances, half chances. They don't score. And at about the 18th to 20th minute, it all just goes away.
It's like we go like this and we're like, oh shit, we're doing all right. Complacency.
And then it just goes down.
That happened in the final. We actually started the final decent.
Yeah. I mean, Kai Havertz misses a terrible opportunity, but at the same time, that should not keep you from creating a single other chance for that entire game. They did not start trying to score, and this is the thing, they don't start trying to score again until they concede and it gets to the 90th minute. If they're drawing,
we're talking about people.
If they're drawing, there's no uptick. They will just try to draw like they did yesterday. Kind of try to draw. You know, we had a little half chances here and there, but it is what it is. If Sporting had scored, they would not have tried to score again until the 90th minute. I don't know what's wrong with this team, but it's so hard to believe in what they're saying because you just know that that's what they're going to do. They'll go to the Etihad, they'll try for a couple minutes, we'll have a couple half chances, miss them, and then City will be on us. And then we'll be, why didn't we score that one chance? Well, why didn't we create more than one?
Football's about probabilities. Yeah, don't get it twisted. Obviously, everybody knows there's them games where you might only get one chance you have to bag. But as an Arsenal fan, unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, we're able to remember and piece together the 2-3 chances we've had. And, you know, again, I know obviously we've kind of spoken lightly about City and Sporting, but that's where the frustration comes from, in that we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot and we're kind of talking about the same thing. So there is an element of pattern recognition. For me, you know, going back to that question, the Prem and the Champs, obviously the manager has to do his part, the player has to do his part, players have to do their part.
Yeah.
I'm more looking at Mikel Arteta in the Premier League. Like, you've got to kind of lead that one. Champions League, I do have faith in Arteta's ability to make us competitive, be good off the ball. But then, like you said, the players are doing their jobs. I'm actually looking at our players more in the Champs. That's why I kind of, because I'm scratching my head for consistent performance. I wouldn't say Rice is being amazing, but I would look to Rice. I'm mainly at this moment in time looking at Eze. You're looking kind of comfortable. Unfair to put it on his shoulders, but if I'm honest, just as a tool in a toolbox, a 16-year-old Max Dowman, and of course, Gyökeres, you're the only ones that have, in my opinion, during 2026, or definitely the last couple of months, have shown me what I want to see in it. So it is what it is. Jess, where have you been? I'm so tired, man. She's been about, man. Subscribe to her platform, man.
Working, and I'm not going to lie, I'm very sick of Arsenal. So
I saw your tweet about what coming in the neutrals. We could just don't lose the faith, man. This A's up, 2-3's up. You signed up for this to death, man.
Yeah, so bad. They piss me off so bad. I've never been in such a toxic relationship. Like, this is the most toxic relationship I've ever been in, but I can't get out. Like,
you can't get out.
So disgusting. Help.
It's like this. It's like this. It makes you want to cry somewhat, man. What's your guys' honest opinion on Saka's season? Thanks for the super chat. I can answer that off the bat. For me, it's been shitting it. Like, there's no way around it. Like, Saka's, for whatever reason, first season that you've disappointed me. You're still my boy. Still protect you. Still would rather this current version of Bukayo than Noni. Big up Noni. Yeah, but it's been shit in it. I'll be just like, it is what it is, isn't it? Where you at?
Yeah, Saka has been poor in my opinion. But I think people have a hard time saying that because he's Saka. He's making lots of money at this club and is the face of it. If he's playing like shit, it's okay to say he's been awful. Now, the injuries definitely haven't impacted him, and that's the context that I'm willing to give him, but it's been poor.
No way around it. And T, appreciate your super chat again. 0 momentum, 44% win rate in April over 7 years. So what does that tell you? I'll discount one of the years, but we generally know in the Emirates, this is when we fall short. In the 6 years under Mikel Arteta, for whatever reason, you and the players gas out at the wrong time where momentum is the name of the game. Spurs can't buy a win. City can't stop winning. We're indifferent. So it breeds indifferent performances or results. This is the crunch time, innit? Really, it is what it is.
44% win rate in April over 7 years, and you've only won like one game in the Premier League in April. It says everything it needs to say. Your teams are never prepared to play when it matters. We're the best team from August to April, and City are their best between April and May, and we're never good in April and May. Like, so that's the biggest issue, and I feel like that's the biggest difference between Arteta and elite managers. But he's being paid like an elite manager. He's being propped up by certain people as that. So he needs to deliver silverware. Like, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm not hearing any injury stuff because the injuries, there's a lot of it is on you. We were saying early on in the season, why not use MLS here? Why not use Norgard here? Now these players, like the league phase meant absolutely nothing in that Champions League. We had already made it. We knew we were going to be in the top 4, and he was still playing Rice and Zubi and these. Like, this is on you, baby. We told you Saka would be crocked at a certain point. Here we are. Like, his first phase was Saka, Odegaard, Ben White. All 3 of those players look washed. All 3 of those players look washed.
Yeah, Ben's got it going out sad, man.
Like, it's absolutely so bad.
Sad. Saka at the moment, Odegaard can't buy any fitness.
Yeah, and then the second phase now is Havertz, Rice, and Timber.
Yeah,
Havertz, Rice, and Timber are his next victims. Like,
don't sleep on that midfield. I don't want to talk it into existence, but Rice, Zubi, I'm kind of nervous with you lot playing every week, and I get it. But
you've had Hincapié and Calafiori swapping in that left back position. So MLS has been available. Norgard is rotting on the bench. I don't want to hear anything. He has no excuse. I'm not hearing it. Not listening. I'm not hearing.
No, for me, Jess, it's a thing where it's like I'm not hearing no excuses. There's obviously factors around this, but end of the day, you're still in the semi-finals. You're still top. We've been bitching about all this stuff this season, and somehow you've managed to be there. You've got to get it done. Like, unfortunately, the world doesn't care. The world doesn't feel sorry for us. They don't care about the 20-year drought, 140-year drought in the Champions League. They don't care about who's injured and whatnot. Claw it back. This is where legends are made. Like, I always say this, yeah. Our generation is invincibles. Fans above us can talk about George Graham. There is a section of the Arsenal fan base that don't know about Wenger, don't know about this player and that. You man will be immortalized if you fix up you will be dead man's generation and things of that. You'll also be the first team that's won the Premier League during the Emirates era. And I do think it's not an excuse, but I do think the fact that we haven't won that Premier League does play on these players. But again, I don't want to hear that because you say the manager's good, you say you want to win, you know about the club's history, the pain of the last few years is that you've all signed new deals, so you're all comfortable here. Unfortunately, this is what comes with a big club. That's another thing to ask you before I get into the super chat. Yeah, the Bournemouth game. I know you said you watched it on a rerun and whatnot. What do you make of the booing? Like the booing of, because I don't think they're booing their players. I think they're booing the performance, and I do feel there's too much kumbaya. If you played well, you would have got roars. If you perform like that after telling the fans to bring everything, and we've done our jobs, you've got to hold that. Because one thing I will always say to Arsenal fans, yeah, me and you sit here, we get 10 other YouTubers. Some are pro Arteta, some don't like him, some like this player, some don't like that player, some don't think we're good, some guys think we're the best thing since sliced bread, yeah. But at the end of the day, when we get away from that, everyone can see we should be getting this league title over the line. We have had a good position. So we've all been behind you in that regards. We all kind of want that. So I don't think they booed the players. They booed the performance. Rightly so. If you're telling us, bring our speakers, do this, that. And the only people who didn't turn up was the guys and the manager that affect the performance. So what did you make of the boos?
Good.
I'm happy we agree on that.
It's about time that the fans get fucking fed up with the bullshit. They need to get fed up. Like, here's the thing is that was an acceptable time to boo, because that performance at home in a
Not so
title
much.
race at all is unacceptable. It was unprofessional and it was ass. So yes, and at some point the fans need to take, like, we don't, I get it that sometimes it's difficult to see how you can change things. But when you're being told to come and basically he's putting onus on you to get them over the line and you show up. Laura was there. I talked to Laura. She said they were up for it. I don't want to hear anything about the fans just weren't up for it and they weren't doing this and they weren't doing that. They were. But the players did not show up at all. So, of course, at some point, the Arsenal fans need to decide whether or not this is good enough. And I think we're one of the most patient fan bases in the world. This is one of the easiest jobs you can have in terms of pressure as at a top club, because this fan base they'll listen to you, that they want to get behind you.
There's the
And they
carrot of
won't
finally
move.
getting over the line and a dominance
Yeah.
and dynasty that might happen.
Yeah,
You
but
have to
they
see the
gotta
present at some
start.
point.
They gotta start making it known that it's not okay. And that wasn't okay. So yeah, good. That doesn't mean that showing that you do not, this is an unacceptable performance does not say that you do not support and you do not love them and all that kind of stuff. But it's okay to not be happy about things. And I think it's too, tipping around, like, is it okay to,
Pussyfooting around
get
stuff.
the booing. Absolutely, because that was horrendous.
And it's from a place of love, man. You sometimes, like, again, we're meant to be a football. We can all disagree on Arsenal, but we're all a family, whether you're around the world or you're at the stadium or you're the players, yeah? Why not want to hear it from people who love you? Because we gain nothing from obviously bashing you for no reason, innit? So it's come from a position of love. And one thing that is annoying me, yeah, is even if we say the players, because I think they were booing the performance, I think fans are right. I don't think Arsenal fans sit there and do that all the time. But let's just actually assume they booed, they thought everyone was shit, they thought the gaffer was shit, all of that kind of stuff. How many times when you lot have had setbacks or when you lot have been in nervous moments or in good form, fans up and down the country have been supporting, have been behind you when you've made mistakes? That's probably that's over 100+ times being nice, yeah. And it's only one time you've been booed. So the metrics are still in the favor of them believing in you. End of the day, it's what you lot want to do. I actually like the way Rice spoke after the game, Zubi after the game, Eze before the game. But if I'm completely honest, it's not whether these things are right or wrong. And I know you've got to fulfill your media duties. I just quote unquote don't want to hear it now. Like, there's multiple different language speakers in that football team and around the world at many teams. The best thing about football, it don't matter if you speak Turkish, Indian, English, whatever have you. It's with your feet now. It's with your body language. It's what you do.
Anything different than they've been saying for the last couple of seasons, like them talking and the performances, like you said, they just don't match up with what they're saying. I've stopped listening to Arteta's press conferences a long time ago.
I can't lie. The fire comment with the fire one was funny, man. We'll get onto that, but it was funny. I can't lie, man.
I don't have any more. Like, Rice is not necessarily saying anything different than what I've heard. Like, it goes from this was not good enough, but we're gonna respond and la 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 la. And then even yesterday, I saw he said, that we just want to go one step further and da da da. What's one step further? Can you say that you want to win something? Is it illegal to say that Arsenal want to fucking win something? Say we want to win it. One step further? The fuck is that? But they all sing from the same hymn sheet. They're all media trained. They're not going to say what they really feel. And, it's tough because sometimes you just want to hear them say, we were shit. Like, that's what I want to hear. That's it.
Just be human, man. Just absolutely be human.
But I know they can't do that, so I'm not saying,
it's not how you say it, it's what you say. Even if we look at Arsenal YouTubers, there's YouTubers out there, positive and negative, yeah, that say the same things that I say, but it's the way it's being said, especially at this moment around negativity, innit? So you can say it. I also understand, especially Rice and Arsenal, because the one thing I'll give you is there's plenty. I disagree with a lot of what is said about our football club, the double standards, etc. But there are 1-2 things that rivals and external things say that I'm like, okay, I don't like the messenger, but I like the message, and I kind of share that. So I understand the frustrations with they are just trying to get sound based. They are just trying to get clickbait. And I can understand if they're doing like the PR thing just to pee people off. But now it's for me, you lot might as well be deaf because the feet need to do the talking. Mr. Holiday, one love for the super chat. Arteta should go no matter the outcome of this season. I'm tired of the style of play and our players being run into the ground. Also, Jess, what happened to your lives? The people miss you. Take it away, Jess.
So on like the lives and stuff like that, I hate being the person that's just like so negative. And I just feel like if I don't have anything new to say, I just feel like I'm beating a dead horse. And the last couple of weeks I've recorded lots of things that I did not put out because I was just like, this is just so dark. I just
release them, because if it was all positive, no one would say you're being too positive. It's too light. Release that.
Being so negative right now, like it's just so bad. But Arteta should go no matter the outcome. Listen, I get where people are coming from with that because I feel like even if we win it, and here's my thing, I want you guys to stay with me here. Even if we win it, it won't be because we were dominant or because like we just ran away with it. We will have scraped by. And I feel like it's not the type of the way that we're playing and the way that we've applied ourselves over the last couple of seasons does not feel like it's going to keep us going or make us win more trophies.
That the egg's gonna eventually hatch.
Yeah, it's not the type of football and application that's going to do anything other than these players be broken down, tons of injuries. It's hard to watch. It's an eyesore. And what we will have gotten from it is one Premier League where we really just kind of like crept over the line against a city that was really poor for a long period of time and really should be like dead and buried, right? So I think beyond the style of play, I think the way that we do things with Arteta is unsustainable because the players are broken down. And so people are saying we need to sell 8 players and we need to, it's like, we're going to need to sell 8 players every season because they're not going to be able to walk. So I do get where it's like, we will have won, but at what cost? We need somebody that can win more than one trophy a season or win at least one trophy a season. Arteta could win this. And I think people would think next season that we wouldn't win anything, so it doesn't feel sustainable the way it feels like we will have sold everything and we're owed a Premier League because of what we suffered, the players and the fans and everything. The style of play, I can get with ugly football if it's effective, if the players are not broken down, if we look like we're going to win multiple trophies, we're dominant. You can be dominant without it being pretty. So it's not about style of play. But I can also see why people don't even want to watch this because if you're not going to win things, you at least want to be entertained, right? So I get it. It won't happen. And even if he doesn't win anything, I still think he'll be here.
Well, there's rumors of new deals, isn't it? Like, again, as I always say, just like the KPIs that we feel should be said are clearly not the same at Arsenal Football Club because and listen, I can never fault Mikel Arteta in it, and I'll say everything. I can never fault you. If you left today, compared to when you came in, we're in a much better stead. Maybe you are the guy to rebuild the ship. You have made us competitive. Keyword competitive. Now it's about being winners. I keep saying this. If we want to get to a realm we've never been, everyone's got to be something they've never been. That goes for the players. We've spent this live stream getting at the players. Also the manager. And again, to a lazy Arsenal fan, because I'm not there, I haven't learned anything new, Mikel. There's been times I have 2022, 23, 23, 24 when we become good defensively. I've seen the way you've changed fullbacks, etc. I still think, and I do cut you that luxury of injuries can happen, all of these kind of things, but you've got more players. We're still in the same realm. Of course, the players could look after their fitness better and some of it's unlocked, but isolate to what you could control, you have ran man into the ground. I do think there's a lack of proactiveness in attack. Me and Jess spoke about this in the summer. I can really go find the vids. We was happy about getting a striker in Gyökeres and obviously as a key and Zubi and whatnot. But these players come here. This is the first time they've probably asked questions of Zubimendi's ability to pass the ball forward. Eze, happy that we're out of the darkness. First half of the season was quite poor. Gyökeres is a limited striker and he's doing quite well in 2026. But we knew he could score goals. He's won an individual award for that. Done it for club and country. Done it in Sporting. Done it in Coventry. You've come here where there is a defensive tax in the Premier League because of the game state. But a team that's not... And it's mad because we score a lot of goals and whatnot, but we always say we know we're going to score, who's going to score. We knew Gyökeres was going to be at a deficit. Teams that play more entertaining football in the Prem, you might see the same Gyökeres, more kind of goals. I guess what I'm getting at is I do think there's an element of Mikel Arteta and us as a football club, like all of us, we stand in the rain and ask why we're wet. And this is my thing in a sense that there's another reality where I'm happy we obviously got through with Sporting. I'm not happy to lose against City or Bournemouth or Southampton. But I can say, you know what? We lost to the better men, which we did, but you lot gave it all. Let's go back to the drawing board. I keep feeling like there's more to give from you, manager, and the players. And I don't think we've changed. This is why I said at the start, in terms of attack, beyond the purple patch, I don't see anything. Just get this thing over the line. As in relation to the new manager, I mean, keeping him and whatnot, the man's going to stay whether he wins, lose, or draws. And I do think things have to be stripped back for Arteta. I think there can be no more projects like Kai's and Madueke's. I do think something's got to be looked into rotation.
Berta has to have full control. Berta needs control. I know that people will be like, yeah, but he wanted Gyökeres. Yeah, but he's the man that could get Gyökeres out the door if
he showed an ability to pivot. We weren't going to get Sesko. They were playing hard, but it weren't making sense. Eddie would have dragged that all summer.
Yeah, Arteta needs to be put in a position where he's no longer being compared to what we were pre him, and he needs to be compared based on what he's being paid and what the remit is for a manager at Arsenal.
He needs to be compared to himself. Because if we think you're a good manager, which I do, if we think we've got some of the best individuals, if we've been fighting for a Premier League and for whatever reason we'll label it down as fine margins, we're not getting embarrassed. We're competitive again. We're getting to the latter stages. You've actually got a decent record, Gaffer, since you've come as a manager into Europe. You got to quarters, back-to-back semis. It's not, we're closer to getting over a line than going backwards. Now it's been a new realm. We're competitive again. That 2023-24, I've said this before, that's when all this rebuild shit stopped. We're now back to where we want to be, get over the line. I don't know about the future and dominations and all of that. We have to deal with tomorrow when tomorrow comes. We just said the past. It's the present. I've not felt we've seized the present. I know this couldn't happen, but in the last 3 years, could we have won 3 Prems on the spin? Could we have won 1 or 3 or 2 or 3? Could we have picked up domestic cups? Could we have done better maybe in the champs? Maybe yes, maybe no, but that's as good as it gets. Like, all we can do is think about that. We ain't seized it. And the boys in him have to do that now, man.
Yeah, there's just to me, I just feel like there's a real cap on what we can achieve with Arteta playing this way, where it's so heavily based on out of possession. I think because we focus so much on stopping the other team and also running around and pressing and out of possession, like whatever the tactics are, that it's breaking the players down. It's a very physical and demanding way that we play. And because we don't do much with the ball, we don't have, it's just a lot, and I think this is a recipe for disaster.
Final third algebra for us.
Whether we win the league or not, there's going to be a group of players that we just literally have to move on because they're not going, physically, they can't go anymore. And some of them
Jesus and White come to mind, unfortunately, Ben.
They should be in their prime and they can barely walk. We spent 100 million on Declan Rice and he's heading towards that too. I'm just looking at him. He should not be shattered going into a final. It's just the way that it's being, our players are being managed, especially in a world where they're playing so many games. I just do not see it for Mikel because he's hard-headed. So Calafiori is another one. I'm seeing him in the comments.
There's no pressure to change, man.
Yeah, I don't think that Arteta may force his way over the line and get a Premier League, but there's nobody will choose us as the favorites next season. There'll be players that just we won't be able to count on. I can understand why people would want him to go still after the season because they don't believe it's going to be more than just the other teams weren't good and we just kind of got it over the line. And I want sustainability. I feel like we've been sustainable in terms of being competitive and being in.
Yeah, that's the rebuttal people would probably say until you just jumped in and obviously stopped them from saying that. That is what they say. Oh, but we're competitive and this happened and that happened. And it's not that it's wrong, but at some point you need to just get this team over the line, bro.
I want a sustainable way of play that's going to get us trophies every season. Whether that's and if we don't, it's like all hell broke loose. Like we didn't, but I can
I
see
mean,
it.
it's a reinventing because you can keep this
Yeah.
ugly football, but sometimes actually revert to building out from the left back like you did last season, and obviously trying different new things, just spanners in the works. Just we said it before, I think 90% of the way we're there. It's just I banned all of the stuff just as said, yeah, under the 10%, the reinventing the players, this and that, and this is why I kind of have sympathy for the players because I can't criticize your willingness to want to win. Definitely when you get stage fright, definitely your ability, your consistencies, but I do think you want it. But then at the same time, to be fair, Jess, like, how much of a blame is the players? Because I'm not seeing enough players stand up to be counted. As much as there's injuries, this, that, and the third, like, how much is with the players? Because you're the ones out there.
Yeah, I think, but that's the thing. It's has Arteta, made a winning environment? Is there a
Yeah, but we're missing the actual trophy. We got the dog, we got the olive gardens, we got all of that.
What I'm saying. It's beyond the trophy. Beyond the trophies, the environment that they're in is such that even when they play terribly for weeks, they still start. Even when they haven't scored since December, they still start. Even when, because there's just certain players that are never going to get into this team. So I think there's an element of complacency. And then because it's so heavily based upon the system and Mikel and him yelling on the sideline, they can't even think for themselves. So they're out there and they're like, okay, this didn't go to plan. So now what do we do? They're overcoached, and it's not an environment that implores players to find solutions. And it's all built in Mikel's image. Overcoached, very all bark, no bite when it really comes down to it. And he's leading from the sideline. They are not under it. Whenever they go
telling fans against Bournemouth to calm down.
Yeah, whenever they go off script, it's so shocking because the script is always to pass it back, be safe, don't lose if you can't win.
Rice against Real Madrid to age your point.
Yeah, Rice against Real Madrid, Martinelli against Sporting. All the players, Saliba, Gabriel, pointing for him to pass backward. If he did not do that, that we would not have scored and we would have been under so much pressure. So for me, it's like, yeah, you want the players to do it on their own, but this is not an environment that implores them to do anything on their own because they're overcoached, and it's all about we do the same patterns over and over and over and over and over again. They're like robots and not the good kind, so it's just, I think the environment that has been built is such that Arteta is running everything, and there's no autonomy, there's no freedom, there's no self-expression, there's no creativity. It's just these are the patterns, and if it doesn't work, we're in trouble. But also there's limitations to these players. I think that they can play at least 10% better than what they're playing.
And we don't hide their limitations and maximize their strengths.
Yeah,
we're asking a monkey to swim and a fish to climb a tree and these kind of things.
They're much better than what they show right now, but there's still limitations to them because even at their best, they've still fallen short. There's a certain type of player that this club has refused to buy, and it's the exact type of player that probably would not listen to Mikel.
What do you mean by that?
Meaning the type of player that's going to just go off script. The types of players that go off script.
Ryan Cherkis of City.
Yeah, the Ryan Cherkis. Yeah, and you have players even like that we've sent out on loan, like Ethan. He's not a player. He's a player that's just off the cuff. You know who else is off the cuff? Miles Lewis-Skelly, and his ass ain't playing either.
Matt Salmon, but there's conditions for him to get a look in.
Yeah, so I just think ultimately, yes, the players should go on their own, but the environment is one of those where it's not built around them being the main characters. The main character is Mikel. The main character is Mikel. He's on the sideline orchestrating everything. And when his plan doesn't work, they're all like, so what do we do now? If they go off script, it is so random and so shocking because it's just not something that the project is Arteta. It's not about the players. We don't have star players.
Done, man. I hate when people use that word. It's done. There's no project no more. We're competitive. It's about winning.
I get that, but I'm just saying, like,
no, I hear what you're saying.
It's built around Arteta.
And this
It's
is what
probably
annoys me, because I wish I was a fly on the wall. And don't get it twisted, I will give Arteta that. I do think there's an element of every manager micromanaging every kind of incident in world football. But then for me, granted, this season ain't the best of examples, right? We've got a great defensive ethos, not just our back five, including Raya, not just Rice in there, but how we press and whatnot. So for me, it's a thing where I know we're not PSG, but I always talk about PSG. They've got the freedom within the framework. They've got the balance. Luis Enrique is doing the most on the sideline. He's a madman. But also he sets up conditions for these players to be free. I'm seeing both their fullbacks on the same side. I'm seeing their midfield pop up in all different angles. I'm seeing their attackers bust their ass to get back defensively and also doing the kind of brilliance thing. And that's where I kind of do think from above Mikel Arteta's head, if there was a bit of and obviously there's pressure on the guy, but if there was a bit of a pressure, you might see a different individual. But there's all ifs, buts, and maybes. And to answer your point, Jen, I don't even mind the fact that Arteta is about control, but unfortunately, there's an element of football that you can't control. And I know I've spoke about Arteta's kind of being at City in it and things he could learn. Also, look at his playing days. Now, granted, the game's changed, and with the greatest of respect to Everton, you man had to be in dogfight. You man, you might lose to Man United every week, and you play Man United 10 times. The 11th time, you say, "Fuck it, we're on it." Like, let's just define the odds. There's that kind of it. There's that 10% of football being illogical. Nobody saw Rice licking in 2 free kicks. That's why we're all football fans. That's where I need Arteta to obviously harness, and obviously you come from La Masia as well, so. If it gets us over the line, gets us over the line, innit? But
nothing from his whole ethos is Everton 2.0.
But the maddest thing, Jess, is we take risks in our own half. It's in the final third. We're like,
and he's also a chronic overthinker. He's a chronic overthinker, and there's nothing simplistic about the way that we do anything. To the fact that as soon as we got into the run-in, all of a sudden we stopped doing corners. That were like all of a sudden there's short corners now. Put it in the mixer. The fuck are you doing? What's the point of having this tall ass team and you're not just gonna put it in the mixer? What are you doing? Everything is chronic overthinking, and where we kind of got the balance right early on, with Zinchenko and these guys, and it kind of worked. We've just gone further and further away from the natural way that football works, and the best teams in the world have tactics, but they lean into talent, creativity, simplicity, energy, and those types of things. And Arteta it's too much tactics and not enough leaning into your players' talent. And I don't know if that speaks to him not trusting them because he doesn't think that
well, if you can't trust them now, then fuck it all, innit?
But he chooses players, I feel like, that are not Mavericks, and that he can coach into what he wants. But even when people look at it's like Pep is such a good coach and he has them in robots, he never lacks technical quality and talent in his team. Arteta has, like, you see how it's like less technical talent, less personality in the team. I want little soldiers to play this fuck ass football. Like, that's just
some man got mentality. They just ain't got what you said about the technical level. Like, obviously they're professional footballers. Noni and Kai come to mind, 100 million on that. And it's not just them or scapegoating thing with them. It just illustrates the point. No more of them kind of man.
He's just too. It's just too. So I can, again, going back to the point like earlier, I can understand why people just cannot do it again. And I personally do not know how I could do another Mikel's Arsenal. It's tiring watching your players out there. They can barely move. They can barely walk. They have no ideas. They don't inspire. And I think James B he articulates this so much better than me, but he talks about how like the football doesn't inspire anything. So when you're asking the fans to do something, it's like if you just played better football and not necessarily like champagne, but the football was energetic and passionate and you tried to attack and you took risks and the players were fired up, naturally the fans would.
Football's a simple game. You play nervous, you're going to look nervous.
Exactly. But they just. And that's why people always go back to 22-23. And I think it was flawed for sure. And I don't know 100% we would have won continuing to play that way. But if we were still playing like that, I would give us a better chance of going to City and doing something than what we're doing now.
2022-23 with 23-24 defensively. You merge that together. I know I'm being very simplistic, we're laughing really and truly. We really are laughing. And that's the thing, again, whether it's on the field, off the field, runner games, even when we drop points in the Prem. I do give credit to, like, for this example, Bournemouth, Southampton, City. But before I can kind of focus on how good or bad they were, it's us. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. And as I said, we've got no divine right to win a game of football, let alone a trophy. I don't feel like we've left it all out there too many times in the last 2 years. And I extend that to the gaffer for whatever reason. That's just what my eyes are telling me. I felt that against Bayern Munich. I felt that in the League Cup final. I felt that on several occasions. Like when it's sink or swim, we haven't been swimming really and truly. No. I wanted to ask you this, sorry, go on.
No, we haven't been doing enough. It's just
this is something people are saying now, because for me, I think this is the same logic when people say in the first half of the season, oh my God, people, we're saving ourselves for the second half. I think it's a bit simplistic. But
no,
some people are saying we're saving ourselves for a World Cup.
No,
or they're saving themselves.
See, here's the thing. I think I know exactly where this is coming from, and I feel like early on in the season, specifically, Odegaard wasn't playing well and was getting injured, right? Now people want him there, but because he's not playing, now they need a reason to be mad at him. I actually do not believe there's any player in this team that would not play if they could not. But I mean, it's like so weird. Like the constant conspiracy theories. It's like 1 minute you hope he doesn't ever come back because then the team is going to get worse if he plays. But then now that he hasn't played and they've dropped some of the worst performances ever and gotten some of the worst results, and he hasn't even played. Now it's, we want him back. But if he's not playing,
that's emotional
saving himself for analysis. He's injured. And when he was playing, his knee was probably fucked. And now he just can't go. There's some of these, it's like, I don't know why people think that these players are trying so hard not to play. Like, but I think they need a reason to be mad at somebody that they didn't even want out there, because
that's football. You always need a scapegoat, man. That's emotional analysis.
No matter who plays, we're playing like shit, guys. No matter who plays, it's not changing. So I don't know what you guys want, but he's saving himself for the World Cup. He can't play.
Copium, it don't make sense, bro. These players, obviously, you're thinking about the World Cup, and there is an element of I don't want an injury, but you can only play what's in front of you. You play, you do well, you get in good form individually, collectively, you win trophies. You're even more gassed going to the World Cup, whether you're with Saliba, with France, where they expect to win, or Norgard, where you're not expected to win, but first time you've qualified in Odegaard's case, and you're a generation you're inspiring a generation. It don't make sense. What if Arteta goes and wins? Will people be quiet?
Odegaard has been campaigning for Norway a lot in the media. What does that have to do with him putting on his boots and playing? This is what he's the captain of Norway. Like, he's going to be on media. Like, it's like the weirdest thing, guys. Like, you didn't want him playing because he made us worse. You realize that he didn't, and we're just asked no matter what. Now you want him there, and he can't play, so you need another reason. It's Arteta. I'm sorry. The football is horrible. The players are not fit, and we're bad whether he's there or not.
It's always the players that are not involved that are the protagonists, man. Yeah. What if Arteta goes and wins, though, Jess? Like, what if he leaves and he goes wins other trophies because they're other clubs? Like, where would you be with that? Because that is another side of the debate.
Okay, here's the thing: is
I only care if you do it at Arsenal because I think you will win. But
I don't goes and wins somewhere else. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I don't care. You know why? Because Emery was terrible for us and went on to win things other places, and I didn't care because he couldn't do it for us. This job is so hard. It's like it's twofold. For Arteta, it's easy because he doesn't have to win anything and he can stay. But equally, it's the longer a club goes without winning something, the more difficult it becomes because you don't have the winning mentality built in.
Every year we don't win, it's going to get bigger and bigger. I've said this before. I think Arteta is a tactical genius. I do think that in the modern day. I do think you're competitive. But the conversation isn't about good players or being competitive. It's about now being a great team. And if I do believe in that stuff, you've got to go and win. Every year that you don't win and this club don't win in the backdrop, there's the Emirates, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're going to have these conversations and they're going to get worse until you get that. I don't necessarily subscribe to we win our first and there's dominance and whatnot. I hope that's the case. But there is the logic in you get the first one over the line. We skip a year forward. You might be in techie situations and know, oh, right, we've actually got the ability to get over the line. Things can happen. But I don't, like Jess said, I don't care unless you do it at Arsenal because it doesn't feed me with anything. That's an ego thing with that. It's an ego thing, Jess. It's, oh, I told you he wouldn't bang. He's left and he's not won anything. I told you Arteta was the guy. We should have continued having him for 20 years. He's gone elsewhere. At some point, you can't keep doing the same things.
Yeah, and I need change after this season in some way.
Especially if you win.
7 years, I can't do the same. So either he's got to go, something's got to change. I can't do it, So I like Arteta, but I like Arsenal more, and I feel like even these, like the players need a different voice. Like they don't look motivated. If you're 6 games away from winning a Premier League, and you're playing like this, something's got to change. And
I don't think it's motivating. I just think you man are shook. Everyone's looking for protagonists when the pressure's on because. League phase in the champs, you batter everyone. When it's just crunch time, man are looking at other people. I've seen our team make mistakes. Other people are standing up to be counted. That's I don't know. And whether it's a reflection of the manager, whether you're using his tactics, whether I need you to stand up to be counted. This is how legends are made, man. When we won the league at Old Trafford, who went out there in that penultimate game? When we became invincibles, what happened in the others? At any other moment as well, when Chelsea, not that I want to praise Chelsea, when Chelsea won that first Champions League, their season was diabolical. They had Di Matteo. They played the final against Bayern Munich in their backyard. At some point, little boys have to be men. And there's no way around it, including the manager. At some point, you have to do it. At some point, you have to prove people wrong.
I can't do this. And also it's probably already done in terms of this group, but I feel like not winning anything with this group is diabolical because let's say the Prem, whatever, you should have won something. This being the first
Best
season
collective bunch of players in a minute.
Yeah, this being your first season with this team, like this team getting to a final and playing terribly, by the way, is ridiculous. You haven't won anything with this team at all. And I just can't. Like something has to be done. And we've been patient. We've seen it through. And I said at the beginning of the season, he's going to get attackers. And if he still can't do anything, then, it just has to be what it is. I want to see these players, as broken down as they are, with somebody else's energy around them. Because I think he's zapping the life out of them. It's just, he wants to bring a Gordon in. Like, how much more can we suffer? Like,
Gordon's a good player, though, man. He's going to be a key player at the World Cup.
Bayern
Munich won him.
I don't care what Bayern Munich wants. It's Bayern Munich have Olise right now and Luis Diaz. He's going to go in and be a backup. Gordon comes in and is our best fucking winger. It's bad. Like, we need better, so it's just dark. But Arteta likes those types of players. He likes players that are kind of like not that good, that he can coach up so he can get the
I don't want no more players that start with a sentence of if. And again, I'm not trying to draw out Noni Madueke or Kai, because you two are two of the players I've kind of got less energy for, but anything around Kai is if Arteta can. Noni, if Arteta can. And I'm not saying the players individually don't need to do better. I'm not saying that Arteta can't get anything out of them, but to a degree, if you're 23, 24, 25, at that point, what we see is what we get. If your decision making is not where it needs to be, you like me and Jess always run backs. I love Martinelli, but certain men have to be accepted for what they are, innit? If certain things are not in your game now, they're never gonna be there. This is why every signing has to make sense. Everyone wants a left winger. For me, clearly another centre mid. If you're a left winger, bad boy left winger. If you're a centre mid, serious centre mid that can start with either Rice or Zubi, or genuinely either challenge them, or Arteta's got the faith to say, you know what, Rice, have a breather. You might come off the bench. The same with Zubi. Because I don't think Norgard is them man's level, innit? But the Norgard I saw at Brentford, I thought the occasional start in place of either two, we become accustomed to 20 minutes and 30 minutes and whatnot. You don't trust it. For whatever reason, you do not trust these players. So you've got every decision you make, when it works, you're done though. When it looks left, There's decisions to ask,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Buy
no way around it.
players that make us better. Stop buying like players that are serviceable. We have a bunch of players that are kind of
Not
serviceable
going to the clearance section.
in perfect conditions, but they can't do anything when things are hard because they don't have it, you know. So unfortunately, it's like the only position that Arteta will buy top players in is defense. But the further up he gets, the more experimental he gets. And I don't know why he thinks that this attack is acceptable. I'm sorry, but I mean, people made a big thing about the Nani, say no to Nani, and that wasn't right. But the
Yeah, I
sentiment
don't
was
agree with that. And
true.
big up Noni for that, but it's
Yeah,
not
but
levels.
the
It's not
sentiment
levelism.
was true. Like, you should not be buying Nani Midweki. Every time that we've been in a decent position, we go and buy players that don't make us any better. They make us different. They give us a tool that's a little bit different. Like Nani, he can take on his man, but what's the point if he makes the worst decisions once he gets
Or
there?
runs it out of play.
Yeah, and that's not to say that Nani hasn't worked hard and tried. He has, but we need quality in that. The fact that this is his front options at this point is insane.
It's by
Like,
design.
yeah, it is by design.
Your best
And
attackers generally are the ones you didn't buy.
yeah,
Max Saka.
and the first one, whew, was Kai Havertz. He will never live that down for me.
And let's not forget, we failed upwards with that. You tried to replace Granit Xhaka with Kai in midfield. We struck
Dark.
gold with him up front.
Yeah, I mean, you
Fake
struck.
gold,
You didn't
gold.
struck. You didn't strike gold. You struck. You know, you
He
struck.
failed upwards. He failed upwards. The same with Marino.
Struck a little bronze. Then he doubled down
fake.
and said Marino. You know, it's just,
no more algebra, man. And that's the annoying thing. The one thing I would say is I do want project players, but projects for me, emerging players, you from Brazil or whatever, no one don't really know about them. You can do your thing with that. Guys that are fairly household names, like, not to keep bringing up Noni, but you was at PSV, you've been at Chelsea, you've been capped by a country. Kai, you've been about, man, know you about you. That's not the project players I want. Every signing has to make sense. Them others, it is what it is. Stop wasting bread, bro. Like, stop wasting bread. Stop take risks on the pitch in attack. With the recruitment, don't take risks. So it is what it is, man. I need to ask you another question, Jess, man, because as we close up, we got to go into the City stuff. Yeah. First thing off the bat, do you think Arsenal win at the Etihad on Sunday? Yes or no?
No.
I'm with you. So then, how are you feeling about Sunday? I know we've touched on it, but like, do you give us any hope? Like,
no.
Everything's in City's hands, in it. Like the momentum, the galvanization, the tactics. Obviously, winning a number of big games, including us. They're at their place. You know, I do think people focus on the fact that we haven't won at the Etihad, but they ain't beat us in a hot minute in general. And we are top. The only thing City would change the only thing City would take over Arsenal's at the moment is just the data. The fact that we're in the semi-finals and top with a points gap. No context. That's the only thing they'll take.
This is the perfect scenario for them. They are in the perfect situation because
they're smelling blood.
Yeah, us in front of them means that all the pressure is on us. None of it is on them. And they know that they still get to play us at their place and we're dropping points in the league. Like, they're in the perfect situation. Everything has kind of come together for them to win a domestic treble, by the way, in a season where we're supposed to be winning multiple things. And it's all on the man on the screen. You know, and this is another thing. This is a sidebar, but having a manager that has some sort of weird thing with the main team that you're going up against in multiple things is not good. He is a head case when it comes to City. We never really play, you know, even if they're bad, they had to be so bad last season for us to whoop their ass. But we've had multiple.
We smelled blood then, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like the next season they came to the Emirates and still got a draw. You know, even though they were terrible at that stage, and we still could barely
sitting back in their home half on Sunday.
Yeah, they almost won. They literally almost beat us at our spot.
Going back to your point at the beginning, we was chasing the game as well.
Yeah, so it's like he has some sort of like inferiority complex with Pep, and I get it because most managers would, but our manager cannot. Our manager cannot have an inferiority complex with the person that we're always going up against for the biggest honors. We can't. His team is not
He's got to prove the
prepared
world wrong.
to go to the Etihad right now. They're not prepared to go, and because there's so many contextual factors there. It's not just a game, it's the game, and they're not ready. And he ain't ready either. So he showed his hand in that Carabao Cup that he was willing for us to get battered and bruised before he made a change. Because as long as we weren't losing, he wasn't making no changes. We showed our hand in that Carabao Cup. It's just so dark. I want to say it because it would require this team to be totally different than who they've been in April and who they've been over the last couple of seasons. But history shows us that Arsenal will not start playing well again until it's completely out of their hands. So
we need a miracle.
You guys, people saying 0-0, there is no chance that we do not concede. Why? Not because our defense is not good, but because we're going to give them a goal. The last couple of games, we have done our best. We have done everything in our power to give goals to other teams, whether that's fucking around in front of our box or just silly errors from
We're not as solid defensively as we used to be, from top to bottom.
Yeah. What's going to happen? We're going to rush some of our players back that haven't played in a while. Timber will probably be out there half fit. Saka will probably be out there half fit. Maybe, I don't think
Saka's fighting against the clock to be there for City.
Yeah, they won't be fit, and it'll show, and it's going to be what it is. It's just on neutral ground. We showed our asses in a final. What do you think we're going to do at the Etihad? So I know it's like, well, if you guys don't believe, then how do you make me believe with your performance? You go first. Not putting blind faith, man. Not putting blind faith.
You have to. There's not like I said, yeah. The one thing I'll give Arsenal is I'm an Arsenal fan. You'll have my support. I'm running into the fire with you on Sunday, innit? Illogical things have happened in football, innit? Logically, I'm just an armchair expert. Logically, one, because I think I know my team. Two, from what I see with City and historically and what they're doing this year, and just by looking at them in the first half of the Prem to now, every logical reason points to them kind of winning. The only thing I could say is, if you want to go down in Arsenal history, this is where you now need to win. Where do you think it's a must-win for Manchester City and Arsenal, or just Arsenal? Where are you at with that? Because on one hand, we're still in the driving seat, quote unquote, but we might crack it off.
I mean, it's a must-win for City. I think they have to beat us because they're behind. But the problem with Arsenal is that they're in a situation where they must not lose, and that's the perfect storm for us to lose, because when you don't reach for the win, you don't give yourself an opportunity to fall to the draw. If you go to the draw, you're going to fall to the loss, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So you have to reach higher. And I feel like Arsenal being in a situation still where they could lose or draw and still be in a good position is so bad. But even if we were in a do or die, honestly, we wouldn't win it. It being City,
unfortunately, when that's the case, we crumble.
Yeah.
Prove us wrong.
It being April, it's just the whole cocktail is built for Arsenal to collapse, so we've already collapsed. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take us to fully let it be in their hands. And so, yeah, but it's all on this man. I just look at him and I just think, you have not created an environment for your team to be relaxed and energetic and excited about this opportunity. They are tense, they're shitting bricks, and they're crumbling right before our eyes. And there's nothing that the fans can do because they can't go out there and kick a ball. If we, you know what I mean?
Facts.
So, yeah, I mean, he just has this thing with City. We're never dangerous against them, no matter what form they're in. They always have the beating of us. Even if we do win, it's by some deflected, shanked goal.
If you offer me that on Sunday, I'm biting your arm off. I'm on.
Yeah, but we won't. It's just So it's dark. Love you.
I want to ask you as well, just while I've got him on screen. Yeah, he said, and I actually said this before, coincidentally before I saw this from him. Yeah, he said this week is the biggest opportunity of 6.5 years. Yes, for me, I said this is his biggest week, like focusing on this. This is his biggest week in his career at Arsenal today. Like, where you at with that? Where you at with obviously what he said on screen?
Like in terms of his career at
Yeah,
Arsenal,
like,
and his
because I think at Arsenal this has to be his biggest week of his career. Like, this is make or break.
his biggest week, and nobody believes he was going to be able to pull it off. Like, it's just so, it's so dark. You know, we should be feeling so different, and the vibe should be so much more energetic. We should be nervous but excited at the same time. It's just somber, and it's all because of him. He's like a vampire.
They took it out of us going into the City game in the League Cup, and then obviously how it panned out. So
yeah, because it's not even like let's get revenge. It's like if you go out but you don't go out sad, you know, they beat you because, you know,
die
they
on your
were
feet. Don't
on
try
the day. James Trafford had to have the game of his life, and you know, we were good, but you know, they were just better. You can go again and say,
same as Bournemouth and Southampton.
You can't even do that because you know they're not going to show up. I'm on fire. I don't give a fuck. Your players aren't on fire. I don't want to hear you, dog. Like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I'm sorry, Arteta. I don't. I stopped believing you so long ago.
If you don't need any more motivation, it's this. Is this?
It is. Our Arsenal should not need any motivation beyond how excited they will be and the fans will be to win their first Premier League in 21 years. But
Arteta and players, where's your personal pride?
Yeah, but I mean, they got you on things in a dress, talking about bridesmaids, you know. I mean, you are a laughing stock. You know, there's teams that are in lower divisions saying Ole, like Arsenal second again, Ole or whatever the fuck it is. Like, you are a disgrace. You have Southampton making jokes about us. You know, you are like, Arteta will never recover from what the season could potentially be.
He will, because you're gonna get a new deal. You're gonna get a job elsewhere if you go.
Not in terms of like, not in terms of his pockets, but in terms of his reputation. I
don't even think he will take a hit, because
I do. I think
he
it will.
doesn't get over the line, but he will end up managing a bigger club than us.
No, he won't.
He will.
No, he won't.
I bet you any money he will manage one of the elite in Europe at some point.
Who?
At some point in his future. He's a baby as a manager, you know. This is why I'm even more critical on him, just because for me,
his immediate reputation is gone.
Bro, he's not going to be the first reputation. Like, you've been a manager for 6 years.
Nah,
6 years.
He's never.
You get so much respect in Europe. You are going to get a job, bro. You've done a lot of good
top clubs. Not at one of the top clubs.
You genuinely will. You won't last as long at Arsenal.
Never manage Barcelona. You will get attacked. He will never manage City. He'll never manage. Who?
He will.
Who? No, yes. Name a club.
I promise you, if Bayern Munich, I'm not saying he will get these jobs.
Bayern Munich? Are you okay?
Let me finish. Remember, I'm not playing, you know, just honestly, and I honestly believe this.
I'm dead.
I honestly believe this, because this is away from the obvious as to why I want Arsenal to get over the line. I think you've shown massive bollocks to take this job. I think you've actually been quite spoiled since you've been here for 5-6 years. There's been numerous incidences where you could have, should have, and under different contexts would have been sacked. You've gone from head coach to manager. Arsenal, we don't really do the getting rid of gaffers thing. Not that we've had many. They're gearing you up to be Wenger. You're proclaimed as this. You do get a lot of credit externally with how you coach. I do think in this country, when they get away from bantering us and all of Arteta's criticisms, he's quite innovative. If this man left Arsenal tomorrow, bearing in mind he was green for City, I'm not saying he will be a success. I am not saying they will take him. If Bayern Munich sacked their gaffer, if Barcelona sacked their gaffer, if Real Madrid sacked their gaffer, if City and PSG sacked their gaffers, he will be on that shortlist. Nobody can convince me he won't manage these clubs one day, whether he's a success or not, which is why I'm pissed off more, because I don't care about that. I care about you.
Okay, well, let me just say this.
That's my 5 pence.
Even if he does, it'll be a short tenure. He'll be sacked.
I'm not debating that.
But let me finish. He will there's a very small amount that maybe will even consider him, but his immediate reputation
100%
will be tarnished this season, going trophyless again. There's only
what are they gonna say?
Young manager. There's only so much projection before your reality is what you are. You're a nearly man and a bottler. Like, that is just what it's going to be.
Man. I'm not going to say you're a bottler yet.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, but his long-term future is at Real Sociedad. That is his long-term future. He's a nearly man. Like, if he goes out sad, he's a nearly man, and that's it.
But this is what I mean by you're a competitive coach. You're not a winner yet. You're not a winning coach. That's why I do think you'll be on the shortlist. You'll potentially get the job. But like you said there, you have a short tenure. I do think that. This is why I'm harsher on you. Because I actually think you're a decent gaffer. I actually think our players are quite decent. I do a lot of nitpicking. And Arteta, if you came to my house, I wouldn't offer you water at this moment in time. I'm vexed with you. But this is why I want you to get over the line. I don't want this apprenticeship serve. You struck gold. You're getting 15 mil a year. You're hitting KPIs. You're either mad shit to some people or they gas it. You're seeing Guillaume Balaguer doing whatever. You know, Josh Kroenke thinks you're the guy. There's talk around a new deal where nothing's guaranteed, which tells you when we came into the season from August, it weren't really gloves are off, man have to deliver, or certain things are happening, or you'd have X, Y, and Z. Even Berta, are they going to let you go? Berta's just come in. Obviously, there's been a lot of changes. Arteta's the one thing, stability. We're not that club that move like that, whether I want it to or not. I think he's mind games the whole thing, if I'm completely honest.
I mean, it's all everybody believes in. And, you know, he said one of the most diabolical things yesterday about, you know, I wish that the cameras for the documentary were this in the last 48 hours and, you know, be excited about where we are as a club. Do you know what he's telling you? He's saying that I wish you could see behind the scenes of how bad it is. Enjoy where we are because I've taken you from obscurity. The fact that he treats us like Real fucking Sociedad. He treats us like a club that should be happy for what he's done for us. What have you done?
Yeah, no. That's what I push back on because people act like he can walk on water. And this is what I mean. This is why I'm not an Arteta apologist, because if you rate him like that, man have to win stuff. If you rate Saka, you're gonna get vexed when he don't score. That's where I'm with you with that.
Yeah, the first couple seasons, I get it. Like
some men are not even as loyal to their wife or their friends as much as the gaffer.
We were comparing to what we were from like 2017, and where we are based on that is much better. I'd much rather be in this position. But now I'm looking at Arteta and I'm like, okay, what can you do versus what the remit of your job actually is as the Arsenal manager, which is winning shit. We are not Sociedad, and there's no amount of gaslighting that you can do to make it that we are. You spent almost a billy. He spent almost a billy. He has spent almost a billy. We are not some destitute institution that he's brought from the ground and built up. You have like breathed life.
When they say he's built the culture, no, he's made us. He's like a girl. He's made us believe we're beautiful again. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. And credit you for that. But until you get over the line, you might be the man before the man. Wenger had to sacrifice for the Emirates. You've come, put a lick of paint and whatnot. The next man might come in. He might be better. He might be worse.
It's
but one
giving Brendan Rodgers whether
it's
giving Brendan Rodgers. And listen, Brendan Rodgers was right there, and then they got rid of him and got their real guy. Arteta.
That's why man have to be open to everything.
Yeah,
But who would we get? Bearing in mind, he was a coach that was a coach before, so they're out there.
I don't want to do because here's the thing. It's like, that's always the argument. Arteta will go somewhere and they'll reap the benefits and we won't be able to get anyone. I'm not trying
to. And what did you say a few moments ago? I don't care about that.
I don't want to hear who are we going to get? Go get someone. I don't care. I want better than this. But that's the scare tactic is Arteta will go somewhere else and do well, and we won't be able to replace him.
And you have to be gaslit as well. You should be thankful. Okay, great. Everybody can give Gabriel Jesus his credit for 2022-23, right? Nobody said, oh, but look what he did there. Look what Zinni did here. Look what Ramsdale did there. Unfortunately, life evolves. And at some point, until we get over the line, you can persist with Arteta. You can get rid of Arteta. My thing is we need to be open and on everything until we get to where we need to go. We're Arsenal Football Club. Arteta ain't done nothing that we have. Fair enough, there's young G's that ain't seen it, but he hasn't done anything that hasn't been done before. We've seen league titles. Cool, you've got us to 2 semi-finals and all them more points than the Invincibles, all those kind of things. But if we stop trying to be smart, you ain't won us a champs. We ain't won a Prem or retained it. Last time we won a League Cup was in 93. I've not seen that in my lifetime for obvious reason because I'm in 95. Not that that's the be-all and end-all, but there's that. You haven't shown, man, anything that ain't been done. Man, seen players come from Haaland. Man, seen us be good defensively. He's not a messiah. He's a human being, so he should be praised and hold smoke when you need to hold smoke. I don't get it with some fans.
And also, I'll just say this, like, I know some people are like, this is going too far. Let's see, it's not over yet. It's not, but I'm just saying that we're having these conversations because people are looking beyond the only reason why these conversations continuously get had before the
But
before
what's
the
overdoing
season,
it? People just
before
don't want to
the
hear it.
yeah, before the season even started, people were talking about, well, if he doesn't win anything, what happens? We only have these civil wars and have these
We got
conversations
8
because he
players. The
has
clubs are off
not
time to deliver.
won
Allow it now.
anything. He won that FA Cup, but that's so far ago without this team.
Thank you for doing that. It's irrelevant now.
Yeah,
History
that's
done. Big boy thing. One love. Forget
yeah,
that now.
we are top of the league and in a Champions League semifinal, and the main conversations that are being had are more about what's wrong with this team and what happens if we don't win it. That's not because we just want to be negative. It's because it's more topical and more likely than the conversations about winning at this stage. And that's because of him. So, yeah, of course we can still win it, but we're having these conversations because it doesn't feel like it because of history, because
And
of
we can
what we
only talk
went
about the
through.
obvious because we've given
Like,
man praise. Had we have won the League Cup, played in good form, or not even in good form, had we have got like some W's, we wouldn't be saying this. What do people mean why it's too much? Because again, if you think it's too much, you're allowed to think that, but you could also think it's because I don't want to hear it. Because if we was winning and battering and everything was great, no one would say it's too much. Like, what's going on? We're playing football. You play well, one love. You do shaky things, we're asking questions. Like Henri said, yeah, I must admit, I did find the Arteta fire comment funny, yeah. Go and show me the fire at City, innit? Go and show me the fire at City, because at the end of the day, it's not nice. Everyone's speaking about the last time we beat City. In the last 5 games, they ain't beat us. Now, if I had to put money, I'm all back City. Unfortunately, I think City are going to go and win that, innit? The boys have my support, my blindless support, but logic doesn't look kind on Sunday. We need a miracle. Make it happen.
we need a miracle, and we would have to be a completely different team than we've been this entire season. Even when we were allegedly playing well, it still was not passing the smell in the eye test. So, I mean, listen, they're a miracle, and it is what it is, guys. Like, it is what it is. We can talk about lineups and all that. There'll be players that have barely played in the last couple of weeks in that 11 with meat, like their muscles hanging off the bone. It's gonna
Odegaard, Timber, Saka, Calafiori. You can't start them all in it, but whoever's out there, time to stand up to be counted, isn't it? Like, it is what it is.
The one player I would say that I'm hoping, and I feel like would be our major hope in winning anything or getting a result, is probably Eze. I think
100% in Eze we trust. He's playing out of his skin now.
Yeah, he's the only one, because unfortunately,
Max and Gyökeres one love as well, but yeah.
Yeah, it's slim pickings. Eze is the only person that I've seen in this team show up in a run-in and be successful against this particular team. Albeit it was with a different team, but he was coming into his own right before his injury. And, listen, he's an Arsenal fan like we are. He's talking like when we win. He's one of the only players that I've seen actually say when we win. Now let's go a step further. Let's see, so if Eze's fit and he can do something, but everybody else has to be brave. And I think obviously we're at a point
everyone will
now
love you if you do your thing on Sunday as well, lads.
Yeah. So yeah. And even yesterday against, Sporting, I thought he was one of our better performers. I think he fell away a little bit towards the end, but I think that's just a little bit of like lack of fitness because he's been out for a minute. But, it's not enough for him to be the only one. It was really hard watching that front three. I thought they smelled like shit yesterday. I thought they were.
I can't lie, man. Like, how many times does a gaff have to see that? I've got time for Gyökeres. Gyökeres is the only one I'm trying to see of that three consistently starting together. Why? Because we know his hold-up play isn't the best, but it was worse yesterday. We know what he can give us. Noni and Martinelli, it's like two blindfolded people running up and down. The best and the worst thing is we never know what's going to happen. Fair enough, Martinelli, you've turned it on in the champs until yesterday. Fair enough with Noni, you've probably got our goal of the season, but kind of what you're saying, at some point, I have to stop getting vexed because I can't get vexed at Noni's decision making as much as he's got to do better. I can't get vexed at Martinelli. I can't get vexed at Kepa. I can't get vexed at Kai missing chances. I can't get vexed at Gyökeres if you're not creating, he's not really going to do anything. Man, have to accept the tools for what they are. Like, It's like you're trying to dig a hole with a toothpick. It's not making sense to me personally.
Yeah, I think
It all comes back to the gaffer. The good and bad is it's all your fault. That's how life works.
And if I want to pretend for a second that the lineup really makes a difference, I would say that he needs to go with Havertz up front and bring Gyökeres off the bench.
At this point, just do something in it. Like, I'm past caring about lineups and all of those kind of things.
Yeah, I just, he
go out there, bro.
He saw what the Havertz Gyökeres 2-man step was like against City. It was awful. So
that can come off the bench. We can't be starting that one day. And even that, Kai in the 10, that front three.
Yeah, it's
especially if you're not going to be direct.
I think because we're lacking physical, because that's basically our differentiator and has been our differentiator for a couple seasons now, is that we're just bigger and stronger and more physical, so we've been able to win second balls and first balls and kind of, do our thing. We don't have that. Our team is like physically washed. So we're going to have to lean on a little bit of technical ability to get through this. And
we're going to get overrun.
Yeah.
If 2 men are sharing for the ball, City are going to pack it out.
Yeah, I would go for a team that can actually hold on to the ball a little bit, because if you keep kicking it long and they keep giving it away, they're just gonna be on top of us. So
man are kicking it long, and there's only one Arsenal player, and there's 5 City players in the final. So he's gonna lose 10 out of them duels anyways. But when our Arsenal player does win one, can't bring no one else into play. So this is what I mean by, I don't know if it's tactics, I don't know if it's nerves, I don't know if it's complacency, I don't know if it's a bit of everything we've been discussing. But what I do know is you man need to get your act together. I did want to ask you one last thing as well, Jess. I don't have you here too long. Somebody did say, imagine we win. Like, here it is. I'll get back to the super chat. But Jess and DG, talk about us winning potentially on Sunday. We can win on Sunday. It's not all gloom. If we win, big you up. I will be gassing it. Like, I don't give us a snowball's chance of winning on Sunday. So if you go and win it, you stood tall. These are the moments. There's been times I've not believed. I've believed. Sometimes you've got to inspire the fans, and that's where I'm at. Look at the run of games.
I mean, how could they not look at this run of games and be licking their lips? Like, this is why I'm like,
I'm not doing the blind fighter thing. It don't make sense.
Talking about that. And it's like, I get it. It's not all doom, but it's only doom because nobody believes we can actually go there. Like, we're not playing well, so
doom. We've been talking about this from August to now.
Yeah, so it is what it is. But yeah, if we were to win on Sunday, I mean, that it doesn't guarantee anything, but that would be a huge dent in City's chances,
Look at your run of games. You ain't got time to feel sorry for yourselves. Like, as much as me and Jess have been, micro-analyzing, reality is, bro, you've got to find a way. You've got City away. You've got Newcastle next week at the Emirates, where it's been 2 performances. Yes, we beat Sporting. It's been a bit iffy at the Emirates. You've got Atletico Madrid. Different kind of beast. You got to go to the war zone in Madrid. They're going to be on that. Fulham at home. We all know that spanners in the works potentially. Then you've got to get yourself up for the home fixture against Atletico Madrid. West Ham away. We've done well there. We've also title challenge, crunch end, fucked up the base there. Man can't feel sorry for themselves.
And you know what I would say too? Like, and I'm not a coach, and this is probably stupid, so Arteta probably wouldn't do this, but I would say to certain players that I need them to be locked in. I would say, if you get us through the semifinal of Atletico Madrid, you will start in that final. Keep us afloat in the Champions League, and I would rotate and keep everybody else fresh that I really need for the Premier League. Like, there has to be a way to motivate some of these guys. Like, I'd be playing MLS. I'd be like, MLS, I need you really bad. Atletico Madrid, that's you. Get us through those
against Atletico as well, yeah?
Not him. No, he's washed. He's one of the worst decisions we've ever made. But I'm talking about the real players, not this guy. I'm talking MLS. I'm talking Norgard. I'm talking about like I would rotate, because there's nothing that matters more than this Premier League. And I get that if you just had to choose randomly, you would choose the Champions League. But you cannot afford not to win this Premier League. Not in the position that we've been in. Nothing. You guys keep us afloat in there. I'm giving you the final. Not Kepa. I'm giving you the final. Seriously. And motivate.
I don't make you wrong,
because
something's got to happen.
3 games away from winning a Champions League as well.
It's the hope that kills, man.
It's 3.
The hope that kills, man.
Yeah.
Not to forget the Prem. I don't try to dream, man. I try to live in. When it comes to my club, I love you lot. I try to live in the present, man. I try not to dream.
You have to figure out a way
so
to get this team going. And like, I don't want to throw those Atletico Madrid games, but they are a lot less important to me than these league games. We need those. They need to win. Whether we win at City or not, all of those games are do or die. We have to win. Like,
and how many times have we said that? How many times have we said every game is a cup final? Now it really is. Like, you've no margin for error. Like, there's none. And there's gonna be twists and turns. Because don't get twisted. By God's grace, you beat City. I'm gassed. We're shameless. Means nothing if you go fuck up against Newcastle. There's no time for nonsense.
Yeah, still having a play in this kind of dark.
But then, man.
Yeah. So best case scenario, you win at City. It's not all lost if you don't lose, but if you lose, it's looking pretty dark. So, but you're 3 games away from a Champions League as well, but Arteta can't seem to get his players motivated and up for anything. So he's yelling and screaming and, veins popping out on the sideline, but his team looks like they've smoked the biggest joint and they can't be asked, so I don't know. It's the weirdest thing watching us play because their levels are so low and he's screaming and it's like
the maddest thing is, you're 2 games away from a final, 3 games from winning it, as you said, and I know mathematics is crazy, but in theory, we're a team, we're motivated, we win one big game, we have shown that we'll win a big game and fuck it up the next week, but we've shown that we can go on a little run when everyone least expects it, kind of, it's different for City, what kind of City's run. I think it's 7 points. Now, I don't know the maths, but I think if you beat City, you beat Newcastle, even draw against Fulham, I think 7 points, you've won the league. Where we should have, let's have it right. We should have been doing we should be having a similar Liverpool season in the sense that we should have been on the beach a long time ago, running away with this. And like I said at the start, it starts to become ideal scenario syndrome where I know you can't win them all, but had you have held on for 3 points against Sunderland, had you have held on for a point against Villa, I don't need to remind everybody about Wolves, the approach and holding on to a point at Liverpool at Anfield, and the approach at the Emirates. Had you have picked up whatever points with that, it's kind of redundant, this City game. But in reality, that's ideal scenario. Reality.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather us, instead of always doing up math and saying, well, if you lose this,
is what I'm not on no more.
Just go get a result at City. Just go do it for once in your life. Like, stop putting so much pressure on, like, well, if we can just about nick it. Like, everything about this season has been fine margins. And this Premier League is coming
on
down
the right side of them fine margins.
Yeah, we've never really been. And but I wanted to ask because like Montes is saying, did you guys see Trossard giving Arteta the cut eye yesterday? I would say that one thing beyond this whole thing that I would like to know, and we'll never know, is how the players have felt about seeing certain players out of the team, not really playing, not getting any minutes, and him basically throwing 2 domestic cups away by playing Kepa. I think they may be behind him, but there's something deep down that makes me think that
you're never going to agree with everything your gaffer does, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's giving losing a little faith. So they're not
100%, bro. Like, they're probably losing faith in the gaffer. The gaffer's losing faith in the players are losing faith in themselves, and they're all still gassed. At the end of the day, only you lot know the highs and the lows. And someone mentioned the Trossard thing. I hope it's not the case, but the way they kind of been consoling Zubimendi leads me to believe it's a bit deeper than anything on a football pitch. We don't know these things. Like, these lot are human beings. They go through real life stuff, just like you on YouTube or me. You still got to get on with it. Unfortunately, if you lot really believe in each other, you gotta fucking do it, man. Black Crow, appreciate you for the super chat, man. Arteta is confusing himself with Simeone, whose club actually would crash and burn without him. He's won 2 league titles versus a prime Madrid and Barca. I don't even think that. I just think he thinks I'm Mikel Arteta. I'm doing my thing, doing what I want.
Yeah, we make fun of Simeone, but Simeone does a lot and has done a lot for that club. And he knocked Barcelona out when everybody thought that Barcelona were heading for that final. So, yeah, Arteta, you got some work to do, So, I mean, Simeone's won a league title in a league where he wasn't meant to win. So, Arteta is not Simeone.
And got to a final against that fucked Real Madrid side, to be fair.
Oh, and Simeone always has that.
2 league titles. Yeah, he's done the bad boy thing. Remember when Barca sold Suarez, they thought he was past it and whatnot?
Yeah, he always has elite attackers. Arteta would never. Arteta has a group of attackers that need chances, but he starves them of chances by this playing style. So yeah, whatever.
We've got to live.
Just rightly said we should sign competition for Saka. Well, listen, Saka's just not going to carry you anywhere. He could carry you. It's like, it's a weird one because but he's been carrying us and it's like, okay, but we haven't won anything. He goes missing in big games at times. And a lot of our players do. It's not just him, but we needed better competition, but we really needed a starting left wing. So, I mean, it's neither here nor there. We got Nani.
And it's annoying, Jess, as well, even when people do that, because there's obviously been like a standout player. People forget about people will always talk about 2015 Barcelona. People forget Neymar and Suarez. People look at Bayern Munich. They look very different if they were literally living or dying by one of Luis Diaz, Harry Kane, Elise, the same. All the examples at PSG, when Chelsea won, when we won, even when Real Madrid win, the stars typically make the difference, But there's other players, bro. Like, this is what annoys me. Like, obviously, you're right. Like, I'm not disagreeing. Saka needs to do a lot better. But whether it's been Saka, like you said there, whether it's me and you both saying with Eze, whether it's been certain others, we're in this because of this is what the club does to you. Like, you're relying on one player, you're putting all your hopes, some of it logically, some of it illogically, when it's a fallacy, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and it's a player that has forced himself into a better position in terms of becoming a better finisher, but he's not Salah. Like, he's just not. He needs a complement of people around him. He's just not that guy. And so I would love for them, and this has been like a theme under Mikel, is trying to force people, like you said before, into roles that they don't fit rather than just buying what we need, if you got somebody that was a real goal-scoring winger, then Saka could score less goals. But right now, we need him to score everything, assist everything, do all the corners, take all the and he's not that guy, especially after he's been ran into the ground. So, yeah. But you can't really say that because people have been campaigning for Saka to be this and that. And I'm like, listen, I think Saka is a wonderful player, and I think he's performed at world-class levels at times. But when we really have needed him, I don't think he's scored the goals that we've needed, so you needed to buy somebody that was going to do that, but you guys went and got Nani.
And even Ian Wright's right as well, bro. Like, I've backed them, I've done this, I've done that. At some point, you have to be like, you man need to back us. If you man, it's as simple as this. Arsenal, if you want to win the league, you'll go win the league. If not, it is what it is, man. Jess, we've had too much therapy, man. I've ruined your day. Like, the best thing about you is in America, you still got the day, So we're gonna let Jess get out of here. I know people you want to hear more, but we have to respect her time. You lot go and subscribe to her. Make sure you're spamming her about videos and whatnot. Check out the rest of her other content. Yeah, man. What you got to come out, man? You're doing great stuff away from Arsenal, anyways.
Thank you. I'll be working on the weekend, but not on Sunday. So I will be watching the game and we'll just see how things go. But yeah, I have my brand style of play. I've got my website up and all of that. So if you guys are into football and fashion, go over there.
Say it again. I'm going to send me the link. I'm going to check this out after this. Like, send me the link. We'll put that in the video and whatnot as well, man.
Yeah, it's I've been trying to put it together for years, and I finally got up enough.
Finally did it. We are positive. We're as positive as we can be. We're obviously negative with the stench of what we've been seeing. I don't know about anyone in this life yet. I'm not just going to be waffling and saying stay positive for the sake of it. It sounds great, but what does it mean? In the same way, I'm not actually, none of us have actually said, fuck everything, forget turning up on Sunday and doing all of this. We think it's dark. Lead us into the light. Simple as that.
Yeah. Make me look stupid and have to come in here and speak on my crimes. Like, I would love that. At the end of the season, I would love to be sitting there and people going, Jessica, you were wrong about this. You were wrong about that. They did this. I would love that. You know why? Because we want some shit. I don't give
Arsenal Football Club people. Like, I can't remember how Jeff said it. I think it was Fan Olympics or something. See, even Beckham's on this as well, man.
You know what's positive? That the season is almost over. That's the positive.
Man, you know what? We're getting to crunch time, man. We're getting to it. Is that the right thing? Yeah, it's just don't scare me. It is Jessica Black TV. That is her. That's her in the picture. Donnies are scary, making me I'm acting the wrong person in that. I do my job, man. Any famous last words, Jess, in relation to Sunday?
I hope we see fire, because right now, you know. So yeah.
Listen, everybody, just pray.
I can do from here.
Just pray to God. Just pray to God, innit? Just pray to God. Do what you need to do in your life. As much as Arsenal means the world to us, remember there's more than football. Hopefully we're proven wrong. It's with God now, innit? It's with God, Mikel Arteta, and the players, man. Don't forget to subscribe to Jess. Smash the like button. I've actually just posted the website to our platform as well, people in the chat. It's going in the description as soon as we're done here. And on that note, we're gone. Jess, it's always a pleasure. Fantastic stuff. Just
bye, guys.
Peace.
You can look in my eyes and see I ain't no bitch, nigga. I ain't hiding behind no another man. I ain't hiding behind no motherfucking computer or none of that shit, nigga. If it's war, it's a war. We just bang out, nigga. Bang out, nigga. Bam.